we are in Iceland. It's still the winter, and today is day number 5 of this adventure photography trip. And I wanted to talk about, in this video, adventure tours and adventure photography trips, and sort of my thoughts on this subsection of the travel and tourism industry, and to learn what you guys think as well. So we're going to cover that in this video. It all starts right now. Let's go. So on tour here in Iceland, we are at these geothermal sort of mud pits, and it is relatively difficult to photograph. Now, the theme of this trip is photography, but it's not everything. So sometimes in a landscape like this, it's good to just be a normal tourist, to come and check it out and see how unique it is from, where you are at home or from what you've seen in the past. And you don't necessarily need to search for the perfect photo. So what I'm trying to come across here is that a lot of the adventure tourism trips are as much about the experience of travel as it is whatever the theme may be. So with adventure tourism, you've got like mountain biking, whitewater kayaking, rock climbing, photography, possibly wildlife photography on safari. There's sort of a base sort of theme to the trip, but at the same time, the trip is the experience in itself. So travel will always be popular because people want to get out of their comfort zones, to experience new cultures, new food, new places, new languages, etc., right? Understand the history of maybe what they've read about or what they've seen on TV. And that's one of the things that continually inspires me to travel. But these adventure photography tours are kind of based on photography as the theme, but it's not 100% necessary every day, every time, we're going out looking for a photo. But if we don't get one, it's not the end of the day. This is what makes it so special, being in a place like we are right now this morning. I studied adventure tourism in the Rocky Mountains of Canada, which is a real thing at the College of the Rockies, and that was a very eye-opening experience to me, because I noticed that, I learned that there was an industry for this type of thing, and that you really could make it your career if you wanted to. And because I ended up getting into photography and videography, I've sort of slowly evolved into the role that I'm at now. But originally I was leading tours for G Adventures, Gap Adventures at the time in South America, and that was kind of like soft adventure in a sense, where you'd have a set itinerary from anything from 12 to 19 days, and we'd visit different locations throughout the southern part of South America, so Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, Patagonia, Bolivia, of course, and we would stop at every destination and then see what the local activity was, from sandboarding to wildlife viewing, etc. And photography is just sort of a part of that, and that's how I got into this. But I think my whole point in this beginning rant of this video for the adventure tours is that it doesn't have to be about that theme. It's good to, if you're interested in something like that and you want to try and make the tour based around whatever your hobby is, it's also just as much about the location and the experience of travel, which is what we all love. So if you're watching this channel, I'm assuming that you do. So yeah, that's my first little rant, is that it's not necessarily considered to be 100% about, that hobby or the reason that you're there. It's about where you are at the same time. right, so my next point about adventure travel and these adventure photography tours is that it is a niche within the industry, and travel, just like events and other parts of, you know, international industries, have been just crippled by the pandemic. And it's really sad to see so many small businesses and people lose their livelihood in regard to like boutique hotels and hostels and small tour companies and adventure travel companies that operate, you know, trips like these. And even Brendan's company got hit real hard in the last 2 years. So, you know, as a travel professional myself, it's really difficult to see that, but things are changing, and I think that the niche of this space for adventure photography trips, at least, is definitely still there. There's a market, there's people like us that are interested in doing this, and we want to have these unique experiences like Iceland in the winter and challenge ourselves to get out of that comfort zone and try and get a couple of beautiful photographs at the same time. So hopefully it'll bounce back, but the point is that there'll always be people who want to travel in this style on adventure tours, and photography being the niche that it is obviously won't go anywhere anyway, and the technology is just getting better and better, and people want to put that gear to the test in places like this. So that is a good thing, even though the pandemic has been so tough over the last couple of years. What's your opinion on the adventure sector of travel and tourism?
I honestly don't think it's going to change any. I really don't. I think everybody's just going to start traveling again soon. And maybe that's just me. Like, I think a lot of people, when the pandemic started, they were like, when people can travel again, they're going to appreciate it more. They're going to do more sustainable things. I think as soon as it's over, everybody's just going to go back to doing the things they were doing before. Yeah, I think it's obviously going to start slow. I think people will start closer to home than they used to do it. But eventually, give it a year or two, we'll be back to normal.
And next to photography, what's your favorite like adventure tourism activity?
Next to photography?
Do you even do any?
Oh, you guys have lives outside of photography? I don't know, like probably just hiking or kayaking or rafting.
Don't you have an inflatable kayak?
I have an inflatable kayak. Anything on the water, I like water stuff. I hate the beach though.
GoPro 8.
GoPro 8?
You should run it over, that'd be fun.
What are they at now for GoPros?
I think 10 is the
10?
newest one, yeah. So this place is closed, it's closed, don't get too excited, there's nobody here.
It's a good thing I brought my own coffee, but I need a toilet.
There's no toilet here either.
Is there a hole in the ice?
Yes, Barbara just made one.
Have the same substance, because this like part of the image is really nice and you need to balance it.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Does it need to change?
Or bringing up the saturation. Don't go too far with that. There you go.
All right, and we made it to Egilsstaðir, which is in the northeast part of Iceland, and we're getting closer to the coast. We're sort of making our way around the ring road slowly, going northwest and then across the north, then down the east, and then the famous south of Iceland. So saving some of the best to last, but it has been a really good trip so far too. So I want to hear from you. I want to know what your thoughts are about like adventure travel and tourism, this sort of niche within the travel industry, and what your thoughts are even on the adventure photography workshops, because sometimes there's a bit of a split opinion on, you know, what you want to be getting out of the workshops, and others maybe they want to be getting something else out, right? But at the end of the day, I think what I was talking about at the very beginning at the mud flats and the geothermal areas there is that it's all about the experience from what I learned, and then risk management and sort of small group management and being aware of expectations of the people that are on the tour with you, and being able to meet those as best you can in the location and the destination. So focusing on the things that people are interested in our case photography, learning more about photography, composition, post-processing, and all that stuff, while still enjoying a new location and an adventurous one too. And that is definitely what we've got here in Iceland in the winter. Even though I'm wearing flip-flops, Gavin Hardcastle would be very proud. I'm going to end the video on that note. So I'll see you on the next one from here in Iceland.